So Topher, I hear that you have abandoned all shampoo.
Yeah, I'm late to the party, but I'm officially on the no poo movement. Not
No
what you
poo.
think. I've tried. I've tried the other no poo movement. Didn't go well. Didn't last long.
That sounds really hard. Figuratively and literally.
Yes. But the no shampoo movement, I guess, is going to be a little easier because all I have to do is be a little gross for a while.
Wait, what is the no poo movement for the people who don't know?
Apparently, it's been a thing for a long time, but it
Okay.
is basically saying that big shampoo,
Big shampoo, big beauty.
big beauty, big beauty is playing with us and convincing us that we need to be putting all these toxins into our hair to keep them clean, when really it's just like training our hair to produce different amounts of necessary oils, and it's just building up these toxins. And that apparently,
Yes.
allegedly,
Yes.
if you just stop using shampoo, eventually your hair will stop being really gross and will just manage itself naturally.
I kind of like a self-autonomous hair follicle. Like, I think that's the future. I really want that to be true. Luckily for like black folk, you don't have to wash your hair a lot anyway. So I think I've been no pooed for a while.
Oh, you don't wash your hair that much?
No. But I do use shampoo, so I guess I am pooed.
It's strange. I feel like the older I get, the less I feel like I need to shower and clean myself. Like, I feel like there was a time in my life where people told me you should shower like twice a day and always wash your hair.
Right.
And then I heard like, no, you should wash your hair like once a week. And now most people I know are like, I don't
Stop
even
washing
shower.
your hair.
Like, I don't even clean myself.
Stop using water. Save water. Clearly.
For real, though.
I
mean, just the main reason I shower is because toilet paper is terrible at cleaning my ass.
This is why the bidet is what we're gonna invest in. And
yes, please subscribe to our Patreon so we can afford a bidet in our house.
We need clean asses and dirty hair. That's the Avant in. That's the new moniker.
Hashtag clean asses, dirty hair.
Welcome to the Avant Inn. I am one of your hosts, Jerome Allen.
And I am another one of your hosts, Topher Wagner.
We are doom scrolling the news, so you don't have to. Before we really dive into the current moment, when did you learn about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and when did you learn about U.S. involvement in said thing?
Oh my gosh. I feel like most people in America, I learned about it before I really learned anything about it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know that it exists. And my entire upbringing, raised in somewhat of a conservative household, was kind of like, it always just ended up being like, it's complicated. Like, violence is bad, right? And maybe only like within the last few years do I really realize that we are supporting a pretty fucked up country that needs to be checked, and yet still to this day the US government refuses to hold anyone in Israel accountable.
We didn't only support it, we were the first to recognize it as a country in 1948. So pretty long backing, and the fact that the conflict dates way before 1948. So I remember the first that I learned, even that there was anything, was the peace in the Middle East. Of course, I didn't know what any of that meant. I thought it had to do with the Iraq War, because that's when we were children, right? But it wasn't until I was in Peace Corps where I actually read about what was going on with the Israeli government and the Palestinian people, and I was mortified that specific truth was being, I wouldn't say hidden is the word, but intentionally reshaped by U.S. media and the U.S. education system.
Yeah, it's what's unfortunate, having had the whole context now, is that part of the reason that the Israeli state was established was in response to the way that the Jewish people were persecuted in World War II. And now somehow they've come full circle and aren't realizing that they're doing the same thing. And now when you
Mhm.
try to draw any parallels, like I am stepping into right now,
Yeah.
you're immediately labeled as an anti-Semite, and the conversation ends right there.
Well, like any like way of like approaching any way of like not antagonizing, but criticizing the Israeli government or criticizing Zionism, then yes, you become anti-Semitic because they've been conflated into like the same thing, which is strange. Where you can both be against, you can be critical of the Israeli government and it's basically state-sanctioned apartheid towards the Palestinian people, and be pro-Semitic.
There are many Jewish people in America who do not support Israel.
Are for the Palestinian people. I mean, for those who haven't like fully looked into it, just that the Palestinian people are basically forced to live in only one part of the West Bank area. They live in the Gaza Strip, and the Israeli government has slowly but surely been bulldozing down settlements in order for Israeli people to move into Palestine. And so it's slowly but surely taking more and more Palestinian land, when the Palestinian people don't have a country. They don't have a nation to call home.
They are literally second-class citizens in Jerusalem.
In the eyes of the Israeli government, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this past week, basically the Israeli forces started forcing evictions during Ramadan.
Yes.
And of course, some things escalated. They ended up bombing the shit out of Gaza and killing, I think the death count is up to 35 people, with about 10 of them being children.
Yes.
And it's just sort of coming.
But to be specific, they're bombing apartment buildings.
Right.
Apartment
just
buildings.
Civilians.
Like actual civilians. Like it's nothing to do. And then the like opposing military force in Palestine, militaristic being a sort of loose way of describing it, being the Hamas, are also firing back in retaliation. But of course, if you're looking at U.S. state media, most of it is focused on the Palestinian response versus the Israeli response, which makes zero sense.
Right. Well, and Israel has so much less to lose by bombing. They have like this, I don't know if you saw the videos of it, like the Iron Dome missile defense system that literally just shoots rockets out of the sky.
Wow. Yeah.
It's insane what people are willing to just overlook.
Yeah.
In the name of, I mean, there's a lot of complicated reasons why Americans support Israel. I know one of them, which is kind of a weird, controversial subject, is that super hardcore evangelical Christians believe that the Jews must have Jerusalem in their possession for the rapture to occur.
Interesting.
So that's probably one of the most silly reasons. There's also obviously the whole military industrial complex fact that we are literally, selling weapons to them and making money off of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's just time that we stop with the lukewarm, it's complicated argument, which is what the State Department is currently doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw their statement.
I did not know that. I did not see that.
But they're not really taking any firm stance on it, and neither is Joe Biden.
And I think like to yes and that, like even to say, like to speak from what you know and try to navigate the conversation with whatever information you have is like what we're asking for. To say it's complicated, it's just another way to promote both erasure and to delegitimize the suffering that the Palestinian people have incurred for many, many, many years. Like Black liberationists in the 60s and the 70s were with the Palestinian like movement. So like this is not a new thing like within the American consciousness, unfortunately. And for those who didn't check out our last episode, we had a very amazing guest who is of Palestinian descent. Say it last week, say it again, Free Palestine, # Free Palestine.
Yes. And to tie that into one of our common themes on this podcast,
which is
fuck Andrew Yang, who came out and did like this very just strong stance in support of Israel.
Very, yeah.
All it takes is one tweet, and I think he's toast now. Like you can't do that.
You think Yang Gang is no more?
I think Yang Gang is now very conservative. He's had
yeah.
several people comment in support of him, even with the hashtag Yang Gang, including Ted Cruz, Meghan McCain, and Stephen Miller. The Voldemort of the Trump administration is now in favor of Andrew Yang. And he was supposed to, this week, he was supposed to go to Queens to hand out free groceries for people for Ramadan.
Yeah.
And they rescinded their invitation and said, we don't want you to come.
No.
And he did...
You know, for those not living in New York City, we have the New York mayoral race coming up. The primary is coming up next month. So any of our New Yorkers listening, clutch your pearls because Andrew Yang is number one. Hopefully not to be, but one of the biggest memes. And I don't know if we talked about it in the past episode, but how he posted a picture of himself on a train saying, taking the A train to the Bronx. Can't wait to get there. And people are like, the A train doesn't go to the Bronx. What are you talking about? What A train are you on?
Oh, I definitely live here.
No,
Statue of Liberty. That's my girl.
Big mango?
Oh, shit.
Big peach? Oh, no. Big apple. Did you attend the Gates Green Gang?
Oh my God! My flight to Florida got delayed. I swear I wouldn't miss it for the world, but it just the planets didn't align. But the good news is that the America First rally is now a road show, and they are going on tour.
Not a road show, not the road show, not the tour bus.
So Matthew Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene have teamed up. They're establishing the early beginnings of the League of Evil. And
well, they're not that competent, but keep going.
Basically, they are trying to establish themselves as the vanguard of the revival of the Trump populism, right?
Revival? We're already calling a revival? Wait,
well, he did lose.
He lost. Okay, yeah. This is like a postmodern type of conversation. Like, when is it called postmodern music? When is it a revival, grunge? But anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Well, I just think that they think that if they just come together. And by the way, all the people that they spoke in front of at this rally were like Florida retirees at an actual retirement home. And the entire message of the whole rally was just like, who's our president? Donald Trump. Like, it's not about them promoting themselves. Right. It's about them attaching to this guy who's already sort of like fading into the background.
That's so weird. He's like haunting Mar-a-Lago, just like popping up at events, just like saying like, just so you guys know, I got 74 million votes. And he runs that joke like he's doing like he's trying to he's working out bits.
Right.
They don't land.
I mean, who better for the ghost of Trump to pass his baton on to than an anti-vax, racist soccer mom and a child molester?
Wait,
what I mean?
What was the thing that the bill that she's trying to get passed?
Oh, the Fire Fauci Act.
Fire Fauci Act. I love the alliteration. At least that works out.
She seems to believe that. Really late into the game, coming out with this conspiracy theory that
we're like in the opening stages of the reopening.
Yeah, now that the vaccine is actually working, right. It turns out that the entire virus was man-made and it was funded by Dr. Tony Fauci himself.
Duh. So, I mean, if Fauci was that smart to plan world domination, I think he would have already done it. He's worked for 8 presidencies?
Yeah. And part of her justification is, this is the most highly paid federal employee in the country, which I haven't fact checked that or not. But even if he is, there's a reason. He's literally trying to save us all.
No. No. I doubt that.
But she must feel so powerful that she can literally say whatever batshit nonsense she wants and they eat it up.
She's got no committees. She's got no homework. Yeah. She's out of school, but forced to be in school. She's got nothing to do.
That's true. Both of their colleagues are ignoring them so much that they have time to go on tour and do some racist stand-up.
Don't you have bills to vote on?
And they literally part of the rally, they just sat down and like did a Q&A with
No.
each other. Like they just discussed like.
So how does it feel to be canceled?
Oh, well, they only tell lies about us because we tell the truth about that. Also,
the mob, liberal, left, progressive, coastal,
Woke.
elites, woke.
No place.
Just throw them all together. Just like you're getting these senior citizens way too hyped up. They just got their vaccine. Let them chill. They just got vaccinated. Yes.
Green is like, she's constantly embroiled in like all the controversy just for being a trash human being, but like nothing necessarily illegal. Matthew Gaetz is still being investigated by the
He's
FBI
currently
for
under
sex
investigation.
crimes.
Yes.
And it's important to mention that this week is the deadline for his partner in crime, Joel Greenberg, to like take the plea. And we already know that he has all of this dirt on Matt Gaetz. I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but like he reached out to Roger Stone as there's this whole recorded email interaction between him and Roger Stone where he admits that Matt Gaetz is guilty of having sex with an underage girl and he needs a pardon from Trump. And Roger Stone's like, yeah, let me get back to you. Like, I got you. And so the receipts are all there. This guy would be a fool not to save his own ass and take down his friend. But they're also reaching out to like a former intern that dated Matt Gaetz for information. So they're turning everyone close to him against him.
Wow.
And he is just trying to, I don't know, I guess he's just trying to hope that the crazy Florida retirees are going to protect him from the FBI.
Weird is that, when a person loses, right? So Mitt Romney lost the race in 2012. They weren't like, bring back Mitt, there was a Mitt revival tour. There wasn't a John McCain revival tour. George Bush lost. No, he didn't lose. Actually, he ended his term. But like George H.W. Bush lost. I mean, they didn't necessarily make Clinton. Well, I can't talk too deeply about 1992 or 1993, but still. But so strange to rally around this man. He will be 70, 75, 76, something of that nature in 2022. He's already not doing too well. You would think they would try and like go to him and say, who's the next person? But instead they're so wrapped up around like loyalty politics. And it's unfortunate that the loyalist politics is what dictates the GOP. Like literally, let the record show when the GOP was asked, what is your platform? They said whatever Trump says.
Yes.
So the fact that they're able to do this America First Freedom Prize, whatever the fuck, tour, I'm not surprised.
Well, they're doing it out of necessity. They truly, I think to them, they're like, man, politics is so hard and demagoguery seemed to work so well.
Yes.
Like, what other option do we have?
Right.
And it's insane that they're ousting Liz Cheney from leadership. And, like, I'm no fan of Liz Cheney.
No fan. We don't like war hawks.
Yeah, but they're ousting her just for telling the truth about the election. And yet they're not saying a word about these two weirdo scumbags going on a roadshow. That's all fine. And yet this person who is, I mean, quote unquote, qualified, like she has seniority for a reason. She's been in the establishment.
Yeah, for a while.
And I think one of the quotes that Matt Gaetz said at this rally is that it is now both establishments versus us. We are the new party, right? Is basically the Donald Trump party. And the GOP has to make a call and say, no, we don't want to do that, even if it means losing.
But I'm going to say I'd like to be wrong, but I'm going to say they won't. I'm going to say that they're more than likely going to just follow along, because when have we seen like any of the top leadership actually like make a substantive statement about like cutting ties with Trump? And instead they just, well, this is what our voters want,
right?
As opposed to, I mean, it's kind of funny because the conservative machine that is Fox News and all these other ones are so powerful just in the fact that they just really capture in people who still watch cable news.
Yep.
They still like have that ability that Fox News, to be frank, is free. Like, you can turn on like basic cable and get Fox.
Yeah.
And I think that plays a lot into the fact that the conservative basis reaches out to poor people in rural areas.
Yes.
So, but that's not being used against Trump because, one, Trump makes ratings.
Yes.
They don't want to lose that.
But it's not going to work in the long run because, like,
No.
at the end of the day, Fox News and Newsmax have already learned the hard way that, like, there are, in fact, systems in this country to prevent you from blatantly lying about people. Right? So you're going to get sued. You're going to get charged with, accused of libel and all that. And it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. I think Newsmax just had to issue an apology and a redaction of their entire campaign about the Dominion voting systems and the 2020 election. And so I think it's just a fad. They think this is going to work, but eventually people will get bored of the circus. But it's clear that this is their new strategy, evident by the fact that their new Republican darling is Caitlyn Jenner, running for governor of California now. Yeah. Trying to do a revival of the Schwarzenegger phenomenon, you know?
Yeah.
Rich people be wildin', man.
Always. But you know what's bringing me joy this week? Like, I feel like we should start doing that, just sort of like take us out.
Thorns and roses.
So we spoke about all that stuff. You know, the NRA might be dissolving. They embezzled a bunch of money. They went bankrupt. And then they try to get out of the bankruptcy, and then a New York judge, basically a federal judge said, no, your bankruptcy will not disappear. So it is likely that the National Rifles Association will dissolve because they can't continue as they are as its current institution. And that's what you fucking get for taking money away from people, and then also creating such a intense, like, right arm dangerous climate for mass shootings in this country. So that's a big fuck you for the NRA.
I have not heard about this. This is amazing.
This is like today news.
Okay.
So I could be wrong about like the actual timeline and like the but I do know that it is likely that they are on the most shaky grounds.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to play that but card, but I've already begun.
Not the but.
But I mean, all of those lobbyists working for the NRA are going to go somewhere, and since they're already a pretty conservative organization, I can only imagine what rises from the ashes in the America First Pew Pew Boom Boom Patriot Party. You know, like what kind of ridiculous.
What Yosemite Sam like group is this? No. You got any joys?
I guess I'm hopeful for that Voting Rights Act.
Yeah.
It's not quite joy, but the prospect of
hope
joy.
of it. Yeah, I mean, the fact that we can actually like ensure voting in this country is really important. And it might actually like change politics for the better instead of like having the fact that the Republican Party is just appealing to a shrinking minority.
Right.
Maybe they might actually change, and politics in the U.S. could actually start to shift to the left, which most countries and, for lack of better words, in the democratized group are. So
right, like we can actually have a politics based on the beliefs of the constituents as opposed to just the loudest minority that has somehow rigged it in their favor so that their votes count. Yeah,
I think, I'm not sure. I don't know. There's I mean, I feel like what's funny is we were really, really sure about like the stimulus bill moving forward, and we were really sure about some other like Biden initiatives, and he has initiated some things through executive order, but it's seemingly like due to we've already talked about it, but Manchin and Kirsten Sinema and all these other people, having too much power to like unilaterally like swing the party into a different way. It's just like, lawyer.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for listening to the Avant In podcast. I am one of your hosts, Topher Wagner.
And I am another one of your hosts, Jerome Allen.
If you like what you heard, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can listen to the cast wherever you hear your music and your podcast. If you like what you saw here, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit that notification bell, like, comment, all that good stuff. Credit to our theme song that is Mend by Knox Ingler. And for my closing quote, I will say, politics matters. Don't be a bystander. Do something.